All right, today we're digging into a pretty stark warning about the future of AI. And this isn't some sci-fi plot. This is coming from one of the ultimate insiders, former Google CEO Eric Schmidt. He's talking about a future that isn't decades off, but one he thinks is coming so fast that most of us are just completely unprepared for what's about to hit. Just let that quote sink in for a second. 6 years. And look, Schmidt says this isn't just his wild opinion. He calls it the San Francisco consensus, basically a shared belief among the world's top AI labs. They think that in just 6 years, we'll hit artificial superintelligence, or ASI. We're talking about a single system that is smarter than every human mind on the planet combined. I know, it sounds like an impossible jump, right? Just totally unbelievable. But according to Schmidt, the path to get there is actually, well, surprisingly clear, and it's all built on things that are already happening right now. So let's just follow the timeline he lays out, starting with the very first domino that's about to fall. So this whole timeline doesn't kick off in some distant future. No, according to this consensus, the first massive disruption is predicted to happen within the next 12 months. That's right, 1 year from now. And the targets here aren't small. The prediction is that AI is going to completely transform two of the absolute cornerstones of modern technology and science: programming and mathematics. I mean, just think about what this really means. We're not talking about just one little area here. The claim is that within a year, AI will automate the jobs of most programmers and, at the same time, perform at the level of the most elite graduate mathematicians. It's a 1-2 punch to both the practical and the theoretical, all at once. This is a fundamental change in how we create things. For decades, if you wanted to build software, you had to master a specific, really complex language. In this new world, that just goes away. You don't have to speak the machine's language anymore. You just describe what you want, the outcome, and the AI builds it. That barrier between an idea and actually making it, it just evaporates. So you're probably asking, how on earth could this happen so fast? Well, the secret isn't just that we're getting better at building AI. The real accelerator, the thing that changes the entire game, is that AI is starting to build itself. This is the engine that's driving this entire crazy timeline. It's a concept called recursive self-improvement. Schmidt points out that at the top labs, like OpenAI and Anthropic, AI is already writing 10 to 20% of its own new code. Think about that for a second. The smarter it gets, the better it becomes at making itself even smarter. It's a feedback loop that could just spiral into unbelievable growth. Now, this self-improvement is really being turbocharged by 3 key technologies, all working together. First, you've got infinite context windows. Think of that as giving the AI a nearly perfect, massive memory, so it can see a whole complex plan at once. That ability then unlocks step 2, the rise of AI agents that can use those plans to go out and act autonomously. And then the tool they use to act is that advanced text-to-code power we just talked about. It's an incredibly powerful combo. To really get a grip on how powerful these agents could be, Schmidt throws out this pretty wild example. Imagine telling an AI, hey, build me a house. It could then, on its own, handle the entire project. Find and buy the land, design the building, hire all the contractors, pay the bills, and, get this, even sue the contractor if they do a shoddy job. That is the level of autonomy we're talking about here. Okay, so you take that recursive self-improvement, you mix it with those autonomous agents, and you are on a direct and incredibly fast-moving path towards that next huge milestone: artificial general intelligence. And this is where the timeline just becomes breathtaking. The consensus prediction is the disruption of programming within a year. From there, it's only another 3 to 5 years to get to AGI. And then maybe just a year or 2 after that, we cross the final finish line into artificial superintelligence. The entire paradigm shift happens in less than a decade. So what is AGI exactly? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like this. Imagine having the world's #1 expert in every single field. The best doctor, the best architect, the best scientist, all of them available inside one system, ready to solve any problem you could possibly throw it at. That's the power of AGI. All of this, of course, leads to the one huge question on everyone's mind. What happens to us? I mean, what does this do to our jobs, our careers, our whole place in the world?
Schmidt, he really doesn't pull any punches when he talks about the potential impact. He's not just talking about programmers anymore. He says this. It's a pretty shocking statement, and it's meant to get across the sheer scale of the change he sees coming.
But then, just as you're trying to wrap your head around that idea, he pivots. He argues that this doomsday scenario of everybody being unemployed, while it's a natural fear to have, is not the inevitable outcome of this revolution.
His whole argument really comes down to a historical pattern. Every single huge wave of automation, from the Industrial Revolution to the computer age, has followed this exact same cycle. Yes, some jobs get destroyed. Many more jobs get changed, but ultimately, new, unforeseen jobs get created. And Schmidt is basically betting that this time, even with the incredible speed, will be no different.
Which brings us right back to that final stop on the 6-year timeline, ASI. This is the point where the AI's intelligence doesn't just match the smartest human anymore, but surpasses the combined intelligence of all 8 billion of us. And this quote, this right here gets to the absolute heart of Schmidt's warning. The real danger isn't just the technology itself. It's the massive gap between the speed of innovation and the speed of our society. He's saying our laws, our governments, our social systems, they're just not moving fast enough to deal with what's coming. So as we race into this new era, an era driven by code that improves itself and agents that act on their own, we're left with this massive, urgent question. Are we building incredible tools to lift up humanity, or are we building a future that will eventually slip right through our fingers? According to this timeline, we have about 6 years to figure that out.